What up? It's your boy Precise. Here's another episode of Buying the Block.
Let me see your hands up, high. Count the pennies. Let me see your hands up, high. Count the pennies. I'm a unemployed single mom, homeless student with 3-4 jobs and a hustle. If more money, more problems.
On today's episode of Buying the Block, we're going to talk about the 4 major factors, components that banks look at to qualify you to purchase a new home. Let's say you got $1 million in the bank and somebody came to you and asked you to borrow $100,000, right? So let's say you spoke to 5 people and all 5 of these people told you the same thing, that they let this person borrow money in the past and they never paid them back. Would you still lend that person that $100,000 after those 5 people told you that? Probably not, right? You're gonna feel skeptical about it. So this is what you need to understand what a bank is trying to do. When you come to a bank to get qualified to purchase a home, to get this $500,000 loan so I can take this money and go buy this home for $500,000, the first thing you need to understand is the bank is trying to understand and determine by talking to you and gathering documents from you, how risky are you? Okay. So the banks don't operate the way we do, right? Or the way you do, right? The banks are not going to go find 5 of your friends to ask, have they ever loaned you money and have you paid it back or not, right? So what do? They look at quite a few different things actually, but there's 4 major component factors that they look at to determine how risky are you and whether or not they're going to approve you of this loan and whether or not you're going to be able to pay that back. So you have credit. How good is your credit? Your income in comparison to the debts and all of the bills that you have and obligations. The collateral, what is it that you're wanting to buy and what is the value of that home? And then lastly, assets, reserves, money that you have in the bank stored up, maybe in a checking or savings account, maybe a 401k with your job or IRA, something of that sort. So these 4 things that the bank is looking for is going to tell them through their system whether or not they're going to give you a thumbs up, green light, yes, approved on your loan, or whether or not they're going to give you that thumbs down, no, you're not approved for this loan. A very important thing for you to know, very important, is not all banks and lenders are alike. They all look at these components, yes, but they don't judge them all the same way. And let me tell you what I mean by that. If your credit score is at a certain level, if your income is at a certain level, if you have a certain amount of assets and you have a certain amount of money to use towards the down payment for the collateral, those 4 things that we're talking about, one bank might require you to have a higher credit score, to make more income, to have a higher amount of reserves and assets in those accounts, and to be able to put down a lot more money as a down payment than you might even have. And they may tell you if you don't have the numbers that they're looking for, that you are not qualified. They might decline you for that purchase of that loan. But you can take your same credit score, same income, same assets and reserves that you have and ability of a down payment and go to another bank, and they might not view you as being as risky as the other bank did. All right, so we talked about a lot of stuff. Is your head spinning yet? It probably is, right? But don't worry. Do not worry. First of all, listen, this is a lot of information. I get it. If you need to watch this video multiple times until it starts to become a little bit more clear to you, watch this video over and over and over again. Remember, I told you guys, I'm going to be bringing you all of this content for free to educate and explain to people what these things are and practices that they could use to further themselves and further their lives, right? So watch this as many times as you need to because it's a lot of information. But check this out. Hit that notification button. Hit the subscribe button. Why? Because the next videos that I'm going to be putting up, I'm going to go into details on all 4 components, but I'm going to go into each of them individually and break down to you about your credit, to break down to you about your income, break it down to you about the assets, and break it down to you about your collateral and the home that you want to purchase. Thank you for tuning in with me. It's been another episode of Buying the Block. Until next time, be blessed.
Let me see your hands up, high. Count the pennies. Let me see your hands up, high. Count the pennies. I'm an unemployed single mom, homeless student with 3-4 jobs and a hustle. If more money, more problems, is your model pop a bottle if it came from the pennies and the muscle. Celebrate.